accommodate the excluded. And indeed, when the former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and I shook hands on March 8th of 2018, it was because we saw a crack on the wall of our nation. We had run 2 elections that costed the country in excess of 1 trillion shillings. These losses made us see that we were staring at a nation divided right in the middle. But because we had disagreed respectfully, we knew that this was a mark of progress, and though it was difficult, the necessity, the reason, and recognition that we as Kenyans need each other, nation before self, as our forefathers had taught us, to come together reinforced our resolve. Therefore, again, I will continue to say that we need to come together and mend the crack on the wall of our nation, and this, I believe, is what necessitated the First Amendment to our Constitution. And although it encountered some legal obstacles, I say again today that BBI is just a dream deferred. One day, someday, it will happen. Because just as the country cannot survive ethnic majoritarianism and exclusion, just in the same breath, it cannot survive unfair and skewed representation. This is a design defect, and we must fix it. Fellow Kenyans, the Garden of the People, therefore, is not just a place of remembrance. It was gifted to us as a place where generations shall tell stories of where we have come from, where we are, and indeed where we are going. It is an arena of truth, narrated before God, verified by history, and reinforced by the acts of our founding fathers and each and every one of us as we move through life. And it is a convergence point between our past, our present. It must also, therefore, be our guide for the future. Allow me, as I conclude, to give a thought towards that future. If the Asian tigers were at the same level of development as Kenya in 1963, and I remind Kenyans that our country, our nation, actually lent South Korea money to implement its development plan in 1963. The question we therefore must ask ourselves is, what happened? Why were we unable to develop as fast as those did? This future did not happen because we failed to plan for it. The future evaded us because we failed to imagine it. And I say so because imagination is more powerful than knowledge. For the past to have an impact on our future, we must constantly imagine and reimagine it. Indeed, as we envision the future, we are also reminded that in 8 years' time, our economic blueprint, that is the Kenya Vision 2030, will have run its course. By then, Kenya will be home to a projected 63 million citizens. And as Kenya turns 100 in the year 2063, we will be home to 100 million citizens. For us to secure the elusive shared prosperity and intergenerational equity, we must be bold in our imagination of Kenya at 100. But our imagination cannot follow the popular path. It must follow the bold path. And indeed, Vision 2063 must be a bold imagination of what Kenya will be at 100 years. The solemn duty of framing how this vision looks is the task of our generation. Indeed, as our children will walk through the Boulevard of Heroes in this park and play in the Pavilion of Reflection, what account of ourselves will we have left in this unedited place of history? It must be written in this unedited book of history that we chose the bold path over the popular path. Indeed, as it is said, the lion is not the strongest animal in the savannah, neither is it the biggest, neither is it the shrewdest, but it is the boldest, and that is why it is the king. Indeed, it is for this very same reason that it is said that an army of sheep led by a lion can defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. The future of Kenya, inspired by the past and present, must be about a brave imagination. That is why today I congratulate the young men and women of the 19th Battalion of the Kenya Rifles, to whom I have presented the presidential and regimental colors today. We must celebrate our defense forces because when they go to war in the defense of our borders, they know too well that they will either return hoisting our national flag or return wrapped in our national flag. This takes boldness and dedication. So, fellow Kenyans, as I now end my address, I want to remind of a promise I made on the 20th of October 2021, where I directed the Ministry of Energy to fast-track the implementation of the recommendations of the Presidential Task Force on Power Purchase Agreements. I am pleased to note that the pathway to reduce the cost of electricity by over 30% is on course. In honor of this pledge to the nation and response to the concerns of the high cost of electricity raised both by individual customers and enterprises, I am pleased to announce to the nation that the reduction of the cost of electricity will be implemented in 2 tranches of 15% each, with the first 15% achieved through initial actions focusing on system and commercial losses, and this will be reflected in people's bills in December of this year. A further 15% reduction will happen in the first quarter of 2022. In realizing the second tranche of reduction in power bills, I note that the Ministry of Energy and other government departments have initiated engagement with independent power producers aimed at renegotiation of power purchase agreements so as to give our country better value for money for our consumers. I urge the power producers to demonstrate goodwill as we seek to make our energy sector a greater catalyst of our national development. So as we move to the new year 2022, I would wish to leave you with the words of our founding president as he wished our new republic a Merry Christmas 57 years ago. And in it he urged our good men and women to be of service to their fellow countrymen. And indeed his New Year message was, and I quote, "Let everyone who is educated teach others to read and write. Let every man who is healthy help a man who is sick. Let every man who has work find some prospect for a man that is poor and not employed. Let service be our inspiration for the future," end of quote. And with this message, I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2022. Asanteni sana wenzangu. Leo nimesema sitaongea mengi. Juzi nilipata nafasi kule bunge ya kutaja mambo mbalimbali ambayo serikali ambayo naiongoza tumeweza kuyatenda. Siku ya leo ni siku ya kukumbuka mashujaa, wale ambao walipigania uhuru wa taifa hili letu la Kenya, wale ambao wamepigania demokrasi ya taifa hili letu la Kenya. Na hapa ambapo tulipo ni pahali ambapo patasaidia sisi kama Wakenya kujikumbusha mema na mazuri ambayo tumeweza kuyatenda, yale mabaya ambayo tumepitia na ambayo tuwatakikana tusome ndio tusirudie, na pia yale maovu ambayo yametendeka ambaye lazima kama nchi tujikinge na tuhakikishe ya kwamba hatuwezi tena kurudi kwa umwagikaji wa damu. Ningependa nichukue fursa hii kushukuru wote ambao tumefanya kazi pamoja na wao katika huu mradi wa kujenga hii Uhuru Gardens. Nianze kwanza kwa kushukuru jeshi letu kupitia wewe CDF na wenzako. Jeshi limejikaza kabisa pamoja na wengine, na tujue ya kwamba hata ule mtu ambaye amechora na wale ambao wamekuwa ma-engineers wote ni wananchi na watoto wa jamhuri hii yetu ya Kenya, na tunawashukuru na tunasema ya kwamba mbele ya mwezi wa 4 mwaka ujao tutarudi hapa kufungua museum ambayo iko hapa na kufungua hii uwanja kikamili kwa wale wote, wananchi wote, watoto wa shule bila malipo waweze kutembea, wajionee historia yao, wajionee pahali ambapo wametoka, wajifunze kutoka babu zetu, na waweze kujua pahali ambapo wangependa kupeleka nchi hii. Ningefanya makosa kama singemshukuru moja kati yetu hapa ambaye tumekuwa tukiongea na yeye kutoka miezi karibu 14 wakati nilianza hii project ya Uhuru Gardens, ambaye tumetembea na yeye hapa sana na amenipatia mawaidha. Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga, nasema asante sana kwa yale ambayo umetusaidia kutenda. Naonekana hawa wazee wanataka uwaongeleshe, kuja uwasalimie jamani.
Your Excellency, Rais wa Jamhuri wa Kenya, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Mama wa Taifa ya Jamhuri ya Kenya, Mama Ngina Kenyatta, Mama Margaret Kenyatta, Naibu wa Rais, viongozi wote wamefika hapa siku ya leo. Harambee! 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 Nimesema hayo kwa sababu yale ndio yalifanyika hapa miaka 58 iliyopita. Your Excellency, I have only 2 things that I want to tell Kenyans today. First way is true what you have said here about these grounds. But Kenyans must also know that this ground was not chosen for no reason. One, there was a motion in Parliament, and I see the speakers here, then called Legico, about the site. Then there were 3 sites. One was along what was called Princess Elizabeth Highway, now Uhuru Highway, and that was Uhuru Park. The other one was called Mitchell Park, which is today called Jamhuri Park or ASK grounds. This one here was called open ground next to Nairobi Dam. This one was chosen because it was a concentration camp where, as the president has said, freedom fighters were tortured, like they were tortured in Hitler's Auschwitz and Buchenwald. Here, next to the Western Hotel, which is part of this ground, in Langata Primary School, there are torture chambers which have been preserved by the Museum of Kenya for people to know where we are coming from. Your Excellency, what you've done here is great. I'd asked you when you went to Namibia to go and look at what they have done. When you came back, you told me, we'll do better. We'll actually come up with the best in Africa. how we are going to remember our past. There are those who say, forget about the past, we want to look at the future. The past is very important because if you don't look at the past, you are likely to repeat the same mistakes made in the past. You say that you want history unedited here. People will come to know who Wayaki Wahinga was, who Haridhuku was, and so many of those our heroes here. Many of Kenyan patriots have worked here. Historians, geologists, anthropologists, political scientists, architects, engineers have worked here, and people are going to be surprised at what you've done here. It shows your vision for this nation, our country. So we, therefore, Your Excellency, I want to congratulate you in front of fellow Kenyans here for the work that you've done that will only be recognized many years after you've left office. So we congratulate you, and this land had been grabbed, but those land grabbers who do not see any open space and stop grabbing them. But you managed to retrieve it back for the benefit of our people, and it's going to remain truly Uhuru Gardens, where we also are going to bury our heroes and remember them for posterity. I thank you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Haya, kwa hayo machache na mengi, mimi nawatakia Wakenya kila laheri. Mungu awabariki. Mungu awabariki taifa letu la Kenya. Tuwe na Krismasi njema. Tuwe na mwaka mpya wa amani. Majaliwa ya Mwenyezi Mungu, tutaonana tena. Asanteni sana, kwaherini. Thank you very much.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Kwa heshima Mheshimiwa Rais, naomba tuketi kwa kifupi. Kwa heshima Mheshimiwa Rais, naomba uniruhusu niwaalike wachache utakao watunza medali mbalimbali. Head of Public Service, kindly if we could continue. Thank you, sir.
Your Excellency, sir, I wish to present to Your Excellency for conferment of awards and honors to the following persons for the distinguished and outstanding service they have rendered to this nation.
You are not audible, so maybe you can have your performance, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Deputy President. Let me repeat again. Your Excellency, sir, I wish to present to Your Excellency for conferment of awards and honors to the following persons for the distinguished and outstanding service they have rendered to this nation. 1, the Order of the Burning Spear, under the category of the second class, Order of the Burning Spear, that is EBS. We have Engineer Kishan Singh Gehlot.
Engineer Gehlot is the founding chairman of Intersect Construction Limited and KJ Group. He is also the director Medanta Africare facility in East Africa. Your Excellency, he donated a large asphalt batching plant ama kiwanda cha kutengeneza rami with capacity of 128 metric tons per hour to Nairobi Metropolitan Service. This plant has greatly assisted in the tarmacking of roads in Nairobi to improve transport infrastructure in the city of Nairobi. He is awarded Elder of the Order of the Burning Spear, EBS, for his dedicated service to the public. Congratulations, congratulations. Engineer Onyesha Wananchi, asante. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, under the same category, we have Dr. Willis Akware of the Ministry of Health.
Dr. Akwale is the Chairman National COVID-19 Vaccines Deployment Task Force in the Ministry of Health. Under his leadership, the country has administered over 8 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines. He has also coordinated the receipt of over 10 million assorted vaccines from the COVAX program and other donors. This has strengthened our country's efforts against COVID-19. He is awarded Elder of the Order of the Burning Spear, EBS, for dedicated service. Congratulations, Daktari. Asante, congratulations again.
Your Excellency, the next category is the Order of the Grand Warrior of Kenya, OGW. We have Sergeant Salim Mohammed Salim Buna.
Sergeant Salim Mohammed was enlisted in the Kenya Defense Forces in 1992. On 3rd of September 2020, during the capture of Kismayu, they encountered an improvised explosive device attack and heavy gunfire from the enemy. One of their vehicles lost control, while in another vehicle, he proceeded to the scene to save his colleagues. Despite being shot at 5 times in his right leg, he selflessly fought to save his colleagues. As a result of the injuries, he had to undergo knee replacement surgery. His heroic act saved the lives of his colleagues and managed to rescue the service vehicle from enemy capture. He is awarded Order of the Grand Warrior of Kenya, OGW. Congratulations. Congratulations, Sergeant. Asante sana.
The next one, sir, is Ms. Faith Shemgetish Kipiegon.
Faith Kipiegon is a middle distance runner specializing in 1500 meters. She won a gold medal during the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, and she has won gold medals at the 2011 World Under 18 Championships and the 2012 World Under 20 Championships. The national anthem of Kenya was played as the world listened due to her heroic victory. Your Excellency, she is awarded the Order of the Grand Warrior of Kenya for her exemplary performance. Congratulations, you can show the public. Asante sana waonyeshe. Asante, tumshukuru.
The last under that category, Your Excellency, is Ms. Perez Shepchil.
Perez Jepchepchil is a professional long-distance runner. She won a gold medal during the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games in women's marathon, the toughest race in the Olympics. She has also won gold medal at the IAAF World Half Marathon Championships in 2016 and again gold at the World Championships 2020. She is also a former half marathon world record champion. She is awarded the Order of the Grand Warrior of Kenya, OGW, for exemplary performance. Asante tuonyeshe wananchi, asante sana, and congratulations again.
The last category, sir, is the Silver Star of Kenya, that is SS. We have Captain Ari Chitalo Lamadhan.
Corporal Shitiaro is specialized in counter-terrorism. On 18th May 2021 in Bonny Forest, he was one of the gunners who was instrumental in repulsing the enemy fire. While still executing his role as a gunner, he often conducted medical assistance to 2 of his seriously injured colleagues. During the intense gunfight, he was separated from his team and survived in Bonny Forest without food or water for a period of 6 days with 2 gunshot wounds in his legs. He is awarded the Silver Star of Kenya for bravery and self-sacrifice. Asante Kopro, tuonyeshe wananchi. Asante sana. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. That comes to the end.
Niombe sasa sote tusimame kwa wimbo wa taifa.
Yetu ilete baraka kwetu, haki iwe ngao na mlinzi, na tukae na undugu, amani na uhuru, raha tupate na ustawi. Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Wananchi watukufu, tafadhali tunaomba msubiri hadi mgeni wetu rasmi aweze kuondoka uwanjani, na nitampa mwenzangu Inspector Sara Mauti aweze kutuletea itifaki hiyo jinsi tutakavyoondoka hapa uwanjani.
Asanti. Itifaki ya kuondoka itakuwa ifuatavyo: magari rasmi ya Mheshimiwa Rais na Mheshimiwa Mama wa Taifa yataongoza. Watasindikizwa na gari la mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi Jenerali Robert Kibochi, magari rasmi ya Mheshimiwa Rais na Mheshimiwa Mama wa Taifa akisindikizwa na gari la mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi Jenerali Robert Kibochi yatatangulia katika uratibu huo, na kisha baadaye tutakuwa wengine. Tafadhali tubaki kama tumetulia ili tumruhusu mgeni wetu wa heshima aweze kuondoka mwanzo, ndio tuweze kufuatia. Tafadhali tutulie sote popote tulipo.
With Jamhuri Day celebrations led by President Uhuru Kenyatta, quite a significant day that has been today in terms of what the President has said. And like I told you, like I rightly predicted, you know, the political ramification or the political significance of what will happen here is really quite major. And I'm also joined by my colleague, Kamche Menza.